Hi. Um, Welcome to the video about EAD. Both of my pets just woke up like moments ago, right after I got the lighting right. So hopefully they won't be ROWDY while I'm making this video. I'm also gonna roll some yarn. Look. So, and it just got really hot because the fucking heater is on. All these things are coming up right as I make my vid. Anyway, we're going to talk about EAD today because I think it's really important, and I don't think I've even really explicated on it yet completely as much as I need to. So let's start. EAD stands for Elective Arrested Development. It is a new term that I have come up with, and I think that it should be used more often. It is a disorder in behavior. Y'all who know psychology a little bit better than me can comment below and tell me the correct terminology for this. But so elective arrested development is when you purposely do not mentally evolve beyond what's most likely a childish state of mind. And this is really harmful, right? This is really harmful. And this is not a good way to live, and EAD should be avoided, and anyone with EAD should be helped. It's elective because I personally am convinced that women choose not to develop in certain ways. Men too, okay? But because I care more about women, I'm talking about women specifically here. But hey, within patriarchy, a lot more happens to us. Patriarchy in American Sign Language is this, which literally translates to male control. So we have male control right now, and women, what the fuck does a woman do in a male-controlled society? How does that work? How does that pan out? How is it, being a person of color in a white supremacist society? How does that pan out? So elective arrested development is when women purposely don't evolve beyond a certain mental state. And I do talk about how, I'm not for it, but I think it's a pretty normal thing for teenage girls to, play around with makeup. I just fucked up this hank, everyone, because I was talking to y'all. This is called a hank, and I fucked it up. But it's okay. So it's normal for teenage girls to try on slave paint, right? It is. And girls, middle school age, girls, it's normal for them to try on slave paint too. I'm against it, but that's kind of a behavior in this country that comes with the territory, and probably in other countries too. Comment below. I did wear makeup, and I grew the fuck out of it because I grew the fuck up. And the times that I tried to, it never became a habit for me. It was just a thing that I did. I went out and bought all this makeup with my friend before we had our pictures taken, and then she kind of taught me how to do makeup, but not really. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. And then I wore a ton of slave paint for my school picture, but then I never wore it again. I think I might have worn it to some dances. But anyway, this goes way beyond wearing slave paint, okay? Elected arrested development is very serious, and it extends into, your whole life. one example that I like to give is like I was talking to an older woman I know really well, and she shaves. She's always shaved. And I was like, "So, why do you shave?" And she was like, "Oh, I just grew up shaving and that's why I do it." And she changed the subject. You know? Like, and I knew that the question was out of bounds, right? Because she changed the subject. And but it's like, it's not just that she changed the subject, it's that she's not able to think about it. She doesn't want to think about it and she refuses to. I'm forgetting her fucking name. I can't believe this shit because she's my favorite character in the show Arrested Development. The mom, uh, what's her name? I don't remember, but she said at one point, she says, "I don't understand the question and I won't respond to it." That's like so many women I know personally, and you probably do understand the question. You're just saying that you don't, so you don't have to respond to it. But I mean, that was, hilarious in that show. So women also want to create really unnecessary drama, and they want to act feminine, honestly. Forced feminization is a very, very, very serious illness in society. It's a very serious problem in society, and women aren't really doing anything about it. And I sent my friend this clip recently of this like random video I found online of this woman getting really dramatic about some bullshit in a totally inappropriate setting. And I was thinking about that, and all these shows like Basketball Wives or whatever the fuck, and all these like bullshit like reality shows. Oh, Dance Moms, that's another one. Like, a lot of that is exaggerated for the cameras, and they make up shit. The producers make shit up, and then they say, "Oh, can you say this on camera?" to one person, and then they go to another woman and they say, "Can you say that on camera?" And then this plot line is developed. But I think that a lot of that isn't even made up when it comes to these like wackadoo, like really, really, really wealthy women, their lives, right? Because they just fucking do that shit. They pull that shit. They do these things like, "Oh my god, fucking Stephanie said that she didn't like Becky's new living room and she said it was tacky." And then suddenly it becomes in like an actual fight about Stephanie and Becky's lives and life values and their characters, when supposedly it was just Stephanie not liking Becky's new living room decor. I don't fucking remember, nor do I know if I even like kept those names consistent, but y'all know what I mean. Going out, Dan. Y'all know what I mean. And that shit is elective arrested development. It's pretty easy to have elected arrested development when you're just a trophy wife and you got married to your husband for his money. When you're just existing, when your existence is based upon that of a male's. Yeah, that's called elective arrested development. I don't know if y'all have read The Handmaid's Tale, but in that book, the women in it are called of their man's name. Like, their name isn't their original name. Like, the main character's betrothed to, prostituted to a man named Fred. So her name is of Fred. So she's referred to as of Fred. And that's actually a commentary on women changing their last names to their husband's last names upon getting married to them. Because, you become of Fred, you become of Ryan, you become of Scott when you marry him. And that's really fucking terrifying, but women are actively participating in their own oppression and calling it good. And, you know, I just don't understand it. You know, it gets to a point, you know, I do understand it to a certain extent. You know, if you were just raised in a very abusive household, come from a long line of abuse, like this, that, and the other thing, like, I get it to a certain extent, but also to a certain extent, I'm like, how are you still a hop right now? How are you still having elected arrested development? You know, and I say it's elective because okay, let me differentiate here. So I think that elective arrested development can sometimes be determinable. Like, it is very clear that this woman is choosing to act more immaturely than she ought to. Or maybe it's not exactly clear if she's choosing to act immaturely or she just doesn't know any better. You know, I think that both can qualify for elective arrested development, because why the fuck not? I made this shit up, dude. Like, I think it might also be like some middle class bullshit to just deny shit and be like, oh no, I'm not going to talk about that, you know? Or be like, oh, I just, no, and just change the subject entirely. So that's part of it. But, you know, having elective arrested development is not a good thing. It's a bad thing. And no one should have elective arrested development. It's entirely avoidable. And you should strive to not have it. Like, really. I know that it really keeps women subordinate to men. I know that it keeps girls subordinate to men, because plenty of girls could mature, you know, beyond what they do, and they just don't. And, you know, it is also important to know here, and oftentimes you don't fucking know, because our mental health system is just a goddamn mess. But it's like, do you know that this woman is supposedly neurotypical? Do you even know that? You know, maybe she has EAD, but does she have EAD, or is she just not actually neurotypical? This is a question that, you know, we need to ask. What else was I going to say about this? I was going to say something else about this. Here's my green yarn. I hope you're enjoying it, because Mom tangled it. Look at this. It's tangled. You know, I know of all these women, right? Y'all know of all these women. It's most women, honestly, in the United States, or the ones that use the internet. Seems like all of them have EAD. You know, it seems like all these hops, all hops have EAD. They do. You know, it's like we need to create terms for people who fit certain categories, and then we need to use them. And honestly, I'm kind of fucking sick of y'all asking me what HOP stands for. Y'all should know what HOP stands for by now. Like, go fucking find it in the comments. I'll even write it in the goddamn description for this. But, like, stop asking me what HOP means, okay? Do your research. What else can I say about elected arrested development? I mean, a lot of people do in fact have really serious mental health issues. I was going to say this. Thank God I remembered. Okay. When you are not in touch with your mental health, like, at all, okay, you probably have elective arrested development. Because, like, how can you not be in touch with your own mental health? I want to know. Everyone ought to be in touch with their own mental health, you know. Um, there have been a number of times in my life where my anxiety or like my feelings about a certain issue have really gotten in the way of my life. And at those points, I'm like, okay, this is really bad. I need to do something about this. And then I take action, you know, whether that's seeing a therapist or talking to friends or, you know, any other. I also highly recommend video diaries, y'all. Please do video diaries, video diary entries. This is a great alternative to therapy because therapy can be dumb. But so video diary is just when you get your phone, get your computer, whatever you want, and you turn on your camera, okay? And you talk to it about an issue that's bothering you, an issue you have. And then you watch it again. And you don't have to show it to anyone. You don't have to fucking put it on YouTube. You don't have to share it on any social media platform. Just make it private for you, okay? Got green. Done. Even though I fucked it up. Now we're doing this. This is my favorite color. It's so pretty. What is this called? What do they call it? Amazonite. So it's really important to do video diaries because you can watch yourself talk about this issue and you can see yourself, see your own feelings, you know, you can see yourself having your own feelings. You know, I was really upset, like, actually, around this time last year, about this spoo drag who rejected me. And I'm going to talk more about this once I make my video about Adderall, which hopefully is coming soon. But so I was really upset about this spoo drag rejecting me, and I just felt really bad about it, and I made a video diary about it, and then I watched it. I watched that video diary so many times because I really, really got into it about why I was so upset about this spoo drag rejecting me and the ways he was acting. And I was able to see myself get upset multiple times. I saw myself get really upset every time I watched this video. And I also was able to really study my choice of words that I used. You know, you don't always think about your choice of words as you're saying them, but they're very important. They're very serious. And, you know, I used a lot of language that was, when I wasn't even trying to speak of him negatively, I was using negative language towards him. I also rolled my eyes a lot. I didn't even know that I was doing that, but I was like, wow, okay, this guy is annoying me. This guy's clearly a prick, and this guy made me feel like shit. Like, look at this video of me feeling like shit. Do I need to spend more time thinking about this? No. You know, and so, like, maybe people with elective arrested development should fucking have video diaries. Maybe they should do video diaries. I'm just so fucking annoyed every single time I come across someone with elective arrested development when I like ask them some serious question or something and they're just like, oh no, I'm not going to talk about that. Or they're just like, oh, okay, well, and then they change the subject. Like, I used to have a really fucked up job that was having to do with child abuse. And there was supposedly having to do with preventing child abuse, but like we all know how great this country is at perpetuating child abuse. So I had to quit that job. But anyway, what was I going to say about it? Oh yeah, so I would just, and you know, it would come up sometimes if I was talking to someone I knew or someone I kind of knew. And they'd be like, oh, where do you work? And I'd be like, oh, I work here. And they would just like shut down immediately. They'd be like, oh my like, They wouldn't even say like, oh, how is it? Oh, how long have you worked there? Like, it was almost never any of that. Like the normal small talk you do, they would just be like, I'm shut down now, cannot respond, does not compute. And they would either change the subject or like get away from me. I think that's elective arrested development. IDGAF. You know, it's incredibly serious, and I would attribute a lot of elective arrested development to the way that we raise our daughters. I would, you know, the ways that we raise our daughters pretty bad. And Terry talks about how the family has to break a woman's spirit in order for her to be you know, socialized correctly in the eyes of society. And that actually involves, this is not working, lol, it's also a comedy video because y'all can see me not fucking roll a ball of yarn. I never do this standing up, that's the issue. So yeah, I mean, you can tell though that when all you're trying to do is break a girl's spirit, like she's not going to develop well. She's going to have problems in her life. She's going to likely abuse alcohol or drugs. I could go on, but you know, it's really important to think about something like elective arrested development, because, you know, we need to know what it is that we're doing wrong. And if we don't know how things are done incorrectly, how can we know how to do them correctly? You know, we can't. I think that's all I need to say. I want to hang with y'all more, though. I'll make another video or something. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I only rolled one ball of yarn, but I'll just show you in a different video. Bye.